To be honest, there was a time when I thought I was done making videos because there was nothing more to say, like John Cena, the PG era, the brand split. I already said everything I wanted to say, there's nothing more. Like the well was dry, no more water, I was done. Or at least I thought I was done. But then, along comes Finn Balor. And it's like a tidal wave of new foolishness, it's like there's so much new material, I don't even know where to start, so we have this skinny little guy, and he walks out to the ring wearing this little leather jacket. He wipes his boogers on his collars, then he points his fingers in the air and goes, dun, woo! Then he turns around and does it again, dun, woo! And the whole crowd's doing it along with him. Then he gets in the ring, and even though he has a big-ass head, his finishing move is a flying foot stomp. And he's actually beating heavyweights like Jinder Mahal with his tiny little feet. It's like, I've never seen such foolishness, but just when I thought the foolishness was maxed out, just when I thought there was no way he could get any more foolish than this, he gets on the mic and he starts talking. And I'm not exaggerating either, because you saw it too, right? So on Raw, Finn Balor comes out to confront Seth Rollins, and he's like, so you're the one-legged man that won at WrestleMania. It's like he's holding his hands like Santino's duck, so you're the one-legged man that won at WrestleMania. And I'm like, really? Is this for real? This is for real? It's like, this is supposed to be the next big thing, that's the kind of promo you like? Is that how you want me talking to you? This is PS Power, and here's my review of WrestleMania 33. Now the first match was Shane McMahon versus AJ Styles. It's like, is that how someone gets popular around here nowadays? It's like, wow, talk about a generation gap. The future of wrestling promos now stands before you. So again, you got this skinny little guy with a big ass head that walks to the ring wearing a little leather jacket. He wipes his boogers on his collars, points his fingers in the air, stomps on people with his little feet, and then cuts promos like this. It's like, how the hell did this guy make it out of the developmentals? How is this guy ready for prime time? Even his debut was inconsistent. When he debuted on Raw, he had the face paint, the body paint, and he was crawling around on the ground like he was a demon. Now all of a sudden, he's wearing a little leather jacket and talking like this. It's like, what the hell happened? What, was the body paint too expensive or time consuming? Demolition wore face paint for most of their careers, so if the body paint was too expensive or time consuming, he should have just done a smaller version with just his face, because the demon gimmick is a heck of a lot more interesting than this gimmick right here. So let's get back to Finn Balor's finishing move. So we have this guy with a big ass head, yet for some reason his finishing move is a flying foot stomp with his tiny little feet. That makes no sense. That would be like Rikishi's finishing move being like the ankle lock or something. It makes no sense. It's like, you're not using your assets. Finn Balor's finishing move should obviously be the flying headbutt. It would be unstoppable. Remember that episode of WCW Monday Nitro where Kevin Nash took Rey Mysterio and threw him like a dart into the side of a truck? If Kevin Nash threw Finn Balor's head into the side of a truck, the truck would be disintegrated. It would be over. Built Ford tough? I don't care how tough you are. Nobody makes it through a Finn Balor headbutt. The idea of a Finn Balor headbutt is more terrifying than the super kick, the Stone Cold Stunner, and the F5 all combined. Imagine if I was a wrestler and I was in the ring and I turned around and I saw Finn Balor launching his head at me I'd be like, and I try to dodge it like the Matrix, but then the gravitational pull of his head would pull me back in Finn Balor wins. Fatality. P.S. Power's wrestling career would be very short if his debut match is against Finn Balor's headbutt. It'd be like, finish him! And I'd be like, what are you talking about, man? I just got hit by Finn Balor's headbutt. I'm already finished! As you may have noticed, there's been kind of a pattern in my recent videos. In the first part of the video, I'll be criticizing some ham and egger. Then in the second part of my video, I'll be praising Alexa Bliss. And there's a reason for that. Alexa Bliss is one of the brightest stars in the WWE right now. As we know, so many of the WWE stars today look like jobbers. Alexa Bliss is a star that actually looks like a star. Like, I always talk about how, even before Bret Hart got famous, I kind of knew he was going to get big. Because he had that look. He had the pink and black, the sunglasses, the greasy hair, the gimmick, and that Canadian accent, and all that women loved him. You just knew he was going to get big. Alexa Bliss also kind of stands out like that. She has those movie star cheekbones, that cool looking face, the big eyes. It doesn't matter how much the other girls wear the bright, colorful outfits and dye their hair neon color. It just doesn't matter. Alexa Bliss just stands out. She has that look. Although, I do worry about those giant fake eyelashes that Alexa Bliss wears. Like, I'm always worried that they're going to fly off while she's wrestling. Like, she's in the match, and someone clotheslines her, and her eyelash just goes flying off, and, lands in some fan's beer cup, like, bloop. So as you can imagine, I thought it was awesome watching Alexa Bliss beat Bayley at Payback. And it was even awesomer watching Bayley pouting the next night on Raw. Like, have you ever seen that before? Has that ever happened before? Has a world champion ever dropped the title at a pay-per-view and then the next night be pouting on Raw like, but I wanted to stay world champion? What kind of champion starts pouting in the middle of the ring on Raw just because she dropped the belt to a worthy adversary? Someone who should not be champion again. That's who. But even though Alexa Bliss beat Bayley at Payback, and even though she's one of the brightest stars of the company, I get the feeling that WWE is going to mess it up. Don't you get the feeling that WWE is going to mess this up? First of all, they still haven't given Alexa Bliss a bodyguard or a manager character, which I think is best for her character. Second of all, I don't like the way they're handling the women's division in general. I don't like how they always have every woman on the roster standing in the ring together. They're standing in a row, like some kind of video game character select screen. They do that on SmackDown too. They'll have Becky Lynch, Carmella, Natalya, Naomi, and they're standing in a row, like some kind of fighting game character select screen. You're like, choose your fighter. Dun, 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 dun. And player 1 and player 2 pick their character. It's like the Super Mario Brothers 2 character select screen, where they're all just standing next to each other. When they're constantly putting the entire women's roster in the ring at the same time like that, it makes the roster look small. It makes the division look small. The women should all be separated in their own little storylines because it makes the roster look bigger. Just lumping all the women together in the ring at the same time and putting them all in all these big tag team matches. That's lazy writing, and that's not good for Alexa Bliss. As some of you may remember, back when Joe was in TNA, I used to call him Mr. Generic Angry Man, because that's all he was. That's all he was, just angry at stuff. He was always just angry at something like, ooh, Kurt Angle! Ooh, Scott Steiner! Ooh, Bobby Roode! Ooh, AJ Styles! It's like, that was his entire gimmick. Just being angry at shit. He was like just an overweight Yosemite Sam. Like, oh, I'll get that rabbit. There was no complexity to his character whatsoever. He was just constantly acting like someone just grabbed his balls. You're like, whoosh. Woo! I remember I even had a song for him, like, he was angry last week, now he's angry again, 'cause he's Mr. Generic Angry Man. And here's the thing, he hasn't changed at all. He went through all of TNA, became TNA World Champion, went through all of NXT, became NXT World Champion, and now he's in the WWE facing the top guys, and he's still just an overweight Yosemite Sam, just like angry all the time. Like, you know those platforming video games where you're jumping from platform to platform? And if you miss a platform, you go all the way to the beginning of the level and have to go all through it again? That moment you get when you miss a platform, that's how Joe feels all the time. Like constantly, like, or how about like in Mario Kart, where just when you're about to finish first place, you get hit by a red turtle shell and you see the other guy fly by the finish line. That feeling you get, that's how Joe feels all the time. Like constantly, like. Which brings up the question, if the Samoa Joe character is just going to stay ticked off all the time, then why give him anything? Why give him a world title shot? Why make him champion? You think that's going to make him happy? No. He's just going to stay ticked off all the time, so why give him anything? Like, you could take Samoa Joe to Disneyland, the happiest place on earth, and that character is still going to be ticked off the whole time. Like, can you imagine the Samoa Joe character riding some of them Disneyland rides? It'd be like, it's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. You know? If the Samoa Joe character was riding the teacups, he'd probably just be trying to smash into all the other teacups. Like, you know, like, and everybody would be like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? You know, goodness gracious. Great balls of fire. The limitations of Samoa Joe's character were already on full display when he feuded with Scott Steiner in TNA, and Scott Steiner was complaining about how he has this big fat Samoan chasing him around like he was a Twinkie. Samoa Joe had no response for that other than to get more angry. Samoa Joe's character is shallow, therefore his feuds always depend on the charisma of the other guy. Scott Steiner's comedic response to Joe's non-stop anger was perfect, which is why I believe that Samoa Joe will never have a better feud when he's in the WWE. But I think I know why Samoa Joe is so angry. I think I know. See, I believe that Samoa Joe and Santa Claus used to be on a tag team. So before the match, Santa Claus powers up into Braun Strowman, like, now they won't be intimidated. Then Samoa Joe also tries to power up, like, what the hell, man? Why can't I power up into my final form? And the referee's like, Joe, that already is your final form. And Joe's like, what are you talking about, man? You're telling me that this is my final form? And I'm still fat? And Joe's been angry ever since.